Hey Simtar, welcome to the stream. You have a question about item interaction. I know the rule, free item interaction, but how do you rule it at the table usually? You're making some alternative rules? I tend to be pretty liberal with free item interactions because I'd rather fall if I'm going to err in one direction or another, I'd rather err on the side of a more free-flowing group that is not kind of afraid to do things, right? Picking things up, setting things down, handing things to one another, certainly going through doors or like using objects. I want things like that to feel like I give, there's some sort of feat for this, but I give all of my players I forget what it's called, but basically, if they attack someone, they can move away from them without drawing an opportunity attack. And that's because I want them to be mobile. I want them to feel like they can move around without. Because the problem with opportunity attacks is once people realize that that's a thing, they just lock themselves in place and it just becomes a back and forth attack fest until one or the other enemy goes down. But if you say, well, and it goes both ways because if the enemy attacks them, the enemy also can move without drawing an opportunity attack. Um, yeah, it's basically like it's a free disengage if you attack on your turn. Opportunity attacks still happen, but it's usually now more if you're being surrounded and less just like if you're moving away from somebody. I try to be flexible with my players, but also if there's something that I'll just tell them, be like, okay, now we're like stretching the bounds of like, let's remember how long a turn is and um, what do rogues get? What do you mean, Raven? I mean, in essence, I've nerfed opportunity attacks across the board in my game, but I don't think that really takes away from rogues. Oh, item interaction can be a bottleneck if you go too granular with it. Yeah, and I just don't think. Again, I think the question is how much do you want the players to feel like they can interact in the world, and I want there to be a lot of action in combat. I want it to be a dynamic thing. If somebody says, "Hey, I want to flip that table over and get behind it to, hide or whatever," or flip the table up and I'm going to fire from behind it, I think that's cool, and I would be happy if they had that idea, and I wouldn't be like, well, technically that you don't have enough. You'd have to spend a turn flipping the table, and then maybe next time you can fire from around the side of it. It's like, well, that's kind of lame. Most combats are only going to be 5 rounds. So I wouldn't want them to have to waste half the combat doing something pretty basic. I'd rather they be able to do that. That way I also have the freedom to do cool stuff with the enemies, right? Now it does get tricky sometimes because sometimes those item interactions extend to like, can I tie this rope to a thing? And it just depends. Whether or not something like that makes sense really just depends on the type of combat encounter that we're in. Raven, no, I don't. No, I don't think I give them anything extra. But everybody doesn't get disengage as a bonus action. What everybody gets is the ability to move away without drawing opportunity attack if they attack the person. So if you're surrounded by 3 people and you attack one of them, the other 2 people, when you move away, can still opportunity attack you. Just the person that you engaged with can't. Construct's got the right idea. We want to definitely every round one of those screws. Yeah, no problem, Simtar. Hope that helps. I mean, I don't think there's really any wrong way or right way to do it. Every table does it a little bit differently. It's called the mobile feat. Gotcha. Well, I should read that since it's a thing that I grant. It really just came, I think, naturally out of the game and kind of trying to solve the problem of like, gosh, everybody just runs into a combat and then doesn't move. It's like, man, this is lame. How do we fix this? But yeah, mobile feat. That's what it is. Okay, so it's the second. So it's just the second part of mobile, not the first part. Because I definitely don't grant that other stuff to everybody. But yes, when you make a melee attack against a creature, you don't provoke opportunity attacks from that creature for the rest of the turn, whether you hit or not. Yeah. Yep, that's how I do it. Yep. And that's the cleanest way that I found. It because I think what it does is it creates a situation where rather than it's a lot more fun because technically somebody could use their action to disengage and then move away. That's effectively the same, right? It could even be more powerful because if you're surrounded, you should disengage and move away. But if you're only facing one target, in my experience, players never disengage and move away, but they will always go like, oh, okay, so if I take a hit at him, I can move away. And they want to do that because I think that's naturally what you want to do. It's like you're imagining a sword fight. I'm going to push, I'm going to attack and then move. Like that feels like something you should be able to do. And so that's mobile light. Yeah. Mobile decaf mobile with lime.